Hi, this is Usha. Welcome to Rathod's IAS classes. Today in this lecture, we are going to see current affairs of 28th August 2022. So let's get started with our discussion and let us try to see the today's quote. So today's quote, it is regarding education. As you all know that education is one of the important and also favorite topic of UPSC. So please be prepared at least 5 to 6 quotes regarding education and use them where it is necessary. So quote says that education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. So what is the meaning of this quote? So education is the most powerful weapon. So how we can use this education to change the world? So as you all know, if you look at the problems that you are facing in India, for example, you can talk about poverty, you can talk about unemployment, you can talk about malnutrition, hunger, etc. So if we want to eliminate the poverty in our country, also this elimination of poverty is also one of the sustainable development goal. So let me know which is the sustainable development goal which talks about zero poverty. So if you want to eliminate this poverty and if you want to decrease this hunger, yes, when you are providing good education for the children, so today's children are tomorrow's citizens and they will enter into the society, and what happens, so they will be getting good jobs if they are having education, and that will be helpful for better standard of living. That will ultimately lead to decreasing of poverty and hunger. So this quote which is given by Nelson Mandela, so try to use this quote, and it's one of the excellent quote that you can use regarding this education. So now let us try to see the first topic. Actually the today's topic I took solely from The Hindu itself because I am feeling somewhat ill, so that I can't take the other articles. Okay, so please try to adjust for today. And now let us try to see the first topic. So this topic already we discussed. Okay, so this topic which is talking about CJI and Supreme Court judges, especially is talking about the perks which are given to this former CJI and as well as Supreme Court judges. So this topic is at most important from your GS paper to under polity. So why we came up with some recent perks? Because of some changes which are mainly done. Okay, there are some amendments which are done. So because of this we are coming up with some lifetime perks for this former CJIs and as well as Supreme Court judges. So here whatever the infographic that is given here, so this infographic talks about so what are the perks that are going to get by this former CJIs and as well as former Supreme Court judges. So first one is they will be having domestic help and as well as a chauffeur. So chauffeur means nothing but a driver. And next one here is lifetime secretarial assistant for CJI, that is retired CJI. And next one here is personal security guard for the 5 years for CJI and personal security guard for Supreme Court judge, it is for 3 years. And next one here is courtesies in airports and as well as lounges as per protocol, they will be given for both retired CJI and as well as Supreme Court judge. And next one here is monthly phone or internet bill reimbursement will be given up to rupees 4,200. So these are some important benefits or perks that are going to get by this former CJI and as well as Supreme Court judges. So now let us try to see this topic in detail and let us try to see why it is in news. As you all know that N.V. Ramana sir, he retired. So farewell ceremonies for these retired judges usually have the country's top law officers, and they will be wishing them on behalf of government a healthy and peaceful retirement. So for healthy and peaceful retirement, so for these retired judges here farewell ceremonies will be given. So as you all know that if you are in the 9th class or 10th class, yes, if you are in 9th class means you will be giving the farewell party to the 10th class students, right? So if you are in 10th class, the 9th class students will be giving, and the same will follows in the intermediate and as well as in the graduation as well as post graduation. So juniors, they will be giving the farewell. So in the same way, whenever these judges they are going to retire or retired, so here farewell ceremonies are given, and who are going to participate in this farewell ceremonies, that is our country's top law officers, and they will be wishing in the behalf of government that so they have to have a healthy and peaceful retirement. So we are talking about retirement age for Supreme Court judges. So what is the retirement age? So let me know the answer for this question in the comment box, and you have to know that. So if you're talking about some details, so recently our government came up with amendment of Supreme Court Judges Service Rules. Supreme Court Judges Service Rules. So central government revised the Supreme Court Judges Salaries and Conditions of Service Act of 1958, and because of this amendment it added more benefits, okay, more benefits for these retired judges of the Supreme Court. So what are the new benefits? As I said, the first one here is the government need to provide chauffeurs, that is drivers, and as well as domestic help for the retired CJI, Chief Justice of India, and as well as retired Supreme Court judges for their entire lifetime. And as well as retired CJIs would also get secretariat assistants, and staff will be paid the salary and allowances of regular employees of Supreme Court. And the first series of amendments in the rules on August 23, which allowed Chief Justice of India and as well as Supreme Court judges like chauffeurs, okay, but only for a 1 year, and later on we came with a new amendment and it said that they are going to provide this a domestic helper and as well as chauffeur for their lifetime. So if we're talking about the benefit of 24-hour security cover, which extended to 5 years for the CJI and 3 years for the Supreme Court judges. And judiciary had already raised some concerns about the attack on judges. So because of this, here security provision is also added under this amendment. So why these are the changes came up? So if you're talking about the information that we have whenever we are go through this media and as well as newspaper, so these media reports says that Supreme Court, which had reached out this Department of Justice, and they asked for some additional benefits for the judges who are retiring. Okay, so who are retiring from them, for them we need some additional benefits. So here Supreme Court which reached this Department of Justice for this, and the request which submitted to the Law Ministry, and Supreme Court noted that there are several issues which are mainly faced by the Supreme Court judges. Okay, they also talked, and judges they flagged several issues with the many of them related to this post-retirement benefits. And finally, Supreme Court judges rules had been amended. So this is about some background. And now let us try to say next topic. It is regarding Khula. So more Muslim women, they are opting for this Khula, their right to instant divorce. So in this article, especially we need to discuss some concept. For example, you can talk about this triple talaq. So triple talaq means nothing but it is a procedure of giving divorce by Muslim husband to his wife. So as you all know, Supreme Court said that this instant talaq or triple talaq is unconstitutional. So now we have to know about this type of divorce in Muslim community, that is Khula. So this article is important again from your GS paper to under polity and even society point of view, because Muslims they also become a part of our society. Yes, as you all know that India is famous for unity in diversity. So we are having different religious people, for example Hindus, Christians, Muslims, Parsis, Buddhists, Jains. So we are living together. So it is one example of unity in diversity, correct? So here, yes, the laws of this women of Muslims, they also belongs to our social issues, because whenever there is a triple talaq, okay, divorce which is given by the husband to the woman, that will be affecting the fundamental right of this woman, right? So now let us try to understand this topic in detail. So more Muslim marriages end with Khula. Khula, it is a woman's inalienable right to instant divorce. So if you are talking about the triple talaq, which Supreme Court said it was unconstitutional, so it is belongs to the males. Okay, it is a male dominated. So if the male they want to go for divorce, they will be saying like talaq, talaq, talaq 3 times and says that yes, we had divorce. So in the same way, women also having the right to give divorce to her husband. That process is called as Khula in this Islam community. So now let us try to understand this Khula. So this might be a prelims question, and even you can get a question in your mains regarding this Khula as well. So data which available at this Imrat-e-Sharif, Darul Qaza or Islamic arbitration centers. So according to the information which they provided, they says that so most of the cases divorce are filed through Khula method. Okay, and there is an increased larger number of women, they are opting to end their marriages through Khula. So what might be the reason of increasing of Khula? So if male, they are going with this triple talaq means yes, they will be coming under the imprisonment, right? So and they also have to focus on the maintenance of women. So maintenance should be given. So if they are placed in the jails, then there will be no work will be done. So how they will be getting money to provide the maintenance? So it is one of the reason that we can analyze that there is increasing of this Kula method for divorce in this Islam community. So unlike Talaq, which pronounced by the man, so here in the case of this Kula, it is the woman who initiates the divorce and surrenders her meher, that is a wealth transferred or promised to the woman at the time of marriage, at the time of such divorce. For example, if I am a woman who belongs to a Muslim community, and if I want to give the divorce to my husband, so in that case, I have to offer something to my husband and I can come out of that bonding, that is marriage as institution. So this is in short what is this Kula. Okay. So if you are talking about Kula, it can be affected orally or it can be given to a document, and that document is called as Kulnama. So it has the effect of an instant divorce. So how this triple talaq will have the instant divorce? So the same way, whenever woman you are applying for this Kula, then that will be also like instant divorce. So now let us try to see some infographics so that you can understand the concept much more better. So here if you are talking about what are the reasons behind increasing of this Kula. So first one is fearing of jail if they utter triple talaq. So if men they utter this triple talaq, they are having a fear like yes, they have to go to jail. So because of this, now wives are going for this divorce mainly through this Kula. And Kula granted on woman's request, so the man cannot be held responsible for the instant divorce. So whenever this Kula which is granted means, so it is a fault of women. So women they are approaching for the divorce but not the male. And here Waqf boards and warns quazis not to hurry through the Kula request, because it is also having the impact like instant divorce like triple talaq. So religious scholars blame the Muslim Women Protection of Rights of Marriage Act of 2019. So that led to increasing of this Kula cases. So here in this table that you can see what are the important facts regarding this Kulas. So Kulas means nothing but the divorce by wives with the consent of her husband on the payment of something to him. So we are going to pay something to husband and we are coming out of that marriage bond. So Quran also says about this Kula. And if you fear that they, husband and wife, may not be able to keep within the limits of Allah, then in that case it is no sin for either of them if the woman releases herself by giving something to husband. So even Quran says that if they are not satisfied and if they are not living within the limits of Allah, yes, they can divide. Okay, so whenever woman who want to release herself, then she can give something to her husband and she can come out of that. So what is essential of this valid Kula? So first one here is competence of parties. So both husband and wife, they must be of sound mind, and as well as they must have attained the age of puberty. So the first important thing. And this one here is free consent. So the offer and acceptance of Kula must be made with the free consent of the parties. Okay, here both the women and as well as husband, they should have a free consent. Okay, so this is about this topic. And now let us move on to the next topic. So this topic, it is about education, right? So this topic which is mainly talking about especially Kendriya Vidyalayas. So I hope you have came up with across this Kendriya Vidyalayas, and number of students who are watching this lecture, they might come from this Kendriya Vidyalayas. So they might be knowing about a lot more than me what I am going to discuss here. So if you are from this Kendriya Vidyalayas. So I can say that these Kendriya Vidyalayas, they are very good education institutions which are providing education with CBSE standards. They are not going even with this state syllabus, but they are going with the CBSE, Central Board of Secondary Education standards. So this article is important from your education point of view, which comes from your GS paper 2. And this education is one of the important topics that you have to focus. So now let us try to understand this topic in detail. So now let us try to understand why these Kendriya Vidyalayas are in news. So if we are talking about these Kendriya Vidyalayas, over 40% of these Kendriya Vidyalayas, they do not have a principal. And they are facing issues like there is a shortage of teachers. Okay. And this scenario which had been increased from the past 3 years. Okay, as COVID-19 had stopped the recruitments. So what happened? So because of this COVID-19 which came into our lives, so first we saw this entry of this COVID-19 first in this China's Wuhan's province, and later on in 2020, by 2020, early 2020, yes, this COVID has been spread to different countries. And because of this COVID-19, there was nationwide abrupt imposition of lockdown happened. And from that time onwards, there is no proper recruitments for the teachers for this Kendriya Vidyalayas. So because of this, from past 3 years, there is no recruitment and there are increasing of vacancies. For example, 40% of these Kendriya Vidyalayas do not have a principal, and there is also shortage of teachers. So this is one important reason. So because of this, now what happened, there is increasing of pressure on the staff which is already present in this Kendriya Vidyalayas. So here several principals, they mainly said that, so they are facing a bitter and frustrated situation now, and number of employees, that is teachers who are working, so their unrest is seen because they are forced to work double shifts. So whenever they are forced to work for the double shift, yes, there will be some amount of stress that is seen, and that will lead to unrest. So there was no scheme for career progression or transfer policy, that leading to many spending 5 to 7 years at the far-flung stations. So if you are getting job in this Kendriya Vidyalayas, so there will be no proper career progression, unlike if you had get a job in state government or central government, and especially here there is no transfer policy, etc. And they complain of a policy paralysis as academic performance of these schools in class 10th and class 12th board exam had dropped. So actually every year from this Kendriya Vidyalayas, the students who are studying in this Kendriya Vidyalayas, they used to top this class 10th and class 12th. And because of this, there is insufficiencies or lack of vacancies, increasing of vacancies, and there is no principals, there is no teachers, then what happened? Automatically the performance of these students in this class 10th and class 12th had been dropped from the top position to the third position between this 2019 to 2020-22. Okay, and here the principals, they also says that yes, due to this COVID-19 there is a gap that is mainly seen. Okay, so here we have to bridge this gap. If you are focusing on some facts regarding these Kendriya Vidyalayas, so what are these Kendriya Vidyalayas? So these Kendriya Vidyalayas, they are the system of central government schools, and under which ministry they run? So they run under the Ministry of Resource Development. So under which ministry? They runs under this Ministry of Resource Development. And what are the objectives? So objectives are here, for example, to cater the educational needs of children. Okay, to cater the educational needs of children of transferable central government, including defense and paramilitary personnel, by providing a common program for education. So especially they are focusing especially to cater the educational needs of children. Okay, and they are providing education in this CBSE format, and they want to pursue excellence in the pace of school education, and they initiated they promoted experimentation and innovations in education, and they came up with even collaboration with other bodies like CBSE, Central Board of Secondary Education, and even NCERT, etc. And they want to develop the spirit of national integration, and even they want to create sense of Indianness among the children. So these are some important facts regarding this Kendriya Vidyalayas. And now let us try to see the next topic. So this topic is talking about United Nations Nuclear Treaty. So this topic is at most important from your GS paper 2. And you have to know about what is India's stand regarding this United Nations Nuclear Treaty. So now let us try to understand this. So as I said, this topic is important from your GS paper 2 under international relations. So why it is in news? First of all, so Russia, which blocked the agreement on the final document of a 4-week review on this United Nations Treaty. So United Nations Treaty came up with the final document, that is a review document, but Russia blocked this. So Russia mainly considered that, so this is one of the cornerstone of nuclear disarmament, and criticized its military over Europe's largest nuclear plant, which mainly occupied or taking over of this Europe's largest nuclear plant, after Russia's troops invaded Ukraine. So because of this, now there are some important fears that are raising because of a nuclear disaster. There might be a nuclear disaster. So we're talking about this final document which needed approval of all countries of the conference and that are parties to the treaty, and they are mainly having one aim, that is to curb the spread of these nuclear weapons. And if you're talking about this Argentine ambassador, okay, and he also said that, so this final document or this final draft, which is having some better efforts, okay, it is having some better efforts or best efforts, and they are focusing to address divergent views and expectations of the parties for the progressive outcomes. Okay, so they are mainly focusing on divergent views and expectations of the parties, and they are focusing on progressive outcomes, etc. And if you see across the world, yes, there are an increasing of number of conflicts, and those conflicts are alarming. For example, Russia-Ukraine conflict, and there is also ever growing prospect of unthinkable nuclear war. So we can't say that whether this nuclear war will not happen. So it might happen because of now there are serious conflicts are seen across the world. For example, Russia-Ukraine issue and USA-China issue and USA-North Korea issue, right? So because of all these things, so we can't say exactly that in future this nuclear war will not going to happen, right? So we need to have a proper treaty, especially to prevent this type of nuclear wars. So one more second issue that mainly discussed in this article here is non-proliferation treaty. So this non-proliferation treaty review conference, which had supposed to held once in every 5 years, but had been delayed because of this COVID-19. And this marked the second failure of 191 state parties to produce outcome document regarding this nuclear. Okay, so here we can also see that there are a lot of differences that are mainly seen between this Middle East zone, okay, and as well as mass destruction, weapons of mass destruction, etc. So now let us try to understand some facts regarding this United Nations Treaty. So this treaty which approved by United Nations General Assembly in 2017, and there are about only 120 members they have been signed this treaty. And this treaty which is mainly not supported by some other countries. For example, major nuclear powers, they didn't support this treaty. For example, China, US, France, Japan, North Korea, and as well as Russia, Pakistan, and Israel. So these are some countries, they had not been accepted. And if you're talking about what is India's stand, so this topic is important. So if you are focusing on India's stand, India does not support this treaty on prohibition of nuclear weapons. Okay, India did not support this treaty on prohibition of nuclear weapons, and India is committed to the policy of no first use. So until and unless any other country is attacking India, then only we are going for the attack in the retaliation. So we are not going to use this nuclear attacks first, that is no first use policy. Okay, so India does not support this treaty of prohibition of nuclear weapons because already there are some countries, they have the good nuclear base. Okay, but why to have some restrictions on the other countries whenever they are developing their nuclear weapons? So nuclear weapons are very important for the country, to especially for the security purpose and to maintain the sovereignty integrity of so and so country, right? So here this is the one important idea regarding India. So India says that no first use policy against nuclear weapon states and non-use of these nuclear weapons against non-nuclear weapon states. So India says that yes, if the country which is having the nuclear weapons, so if they are attacking the country, then we will be use this nuclear weapons for the retaliation. But if any country which is attacking India but it is not a non-nuclear, but it's not a nuclear weapon state, then we are not going to use this nuclear weapons. So India is also committed to negotiations regarding this fissile material cut-off treaty. So this treaty which is mainly focusing on prevention of production of enriched uranium and as well as plutonium. Okay, enriched uranium and as well as plutonium. So they are very much important for the making of this nuclear weapons. So without enriched uranium and plutonium, we can't go for manufacturing of these weapons. So here this fissile material cut-off treaty which talks about how to prohibit the production of this enriched uranium and as well as plutonium. And India has also not signed this NPT, that is non-proliferation treaty, okay, NPT, which had not been signed by India, and also the comprehensive nuclear test ban treaty. So these are some important things that you have to know. And now let us try to see this topic. So this topic, it is mainly talking about Martian rocks, that is Mars rocks. So let me know one question: why Mars is called as a red planet? So question here is, why Mars is called as a red planet? So this topic is important from your GS paper 3 under Science and Technology. So here now let us try to understand this topic. So this topic which mainly talks about Mars rocks. So you have to know which is the mission which mainly sent to Mars to collect the rocks of the Mars. So that is the thing which already given here, but I want to ask you the question, and please pause the video and let me know the answer for this question also. So I hope you are typing the answer. So now let us see why it is in use. So the accepted view of Mars is red rocks and craters as far as the eye can see. So as you know, if you see the solar system, we have Sun here, we have Mercury, we have Venus, we have Earth, and here we have Mars. So if you see the color of the Mars, it is red planet. So we call this Mars is called as a red planet because of presence of ferrous iron oxide. And we can see there are a number of craters. Craters means nothing but the deeps we can see. So it is not like even surface, we can see some deeps that is seen here, and these are called as craters. So especially if you see the word crater regarding this volcano, so whenever there is a burst of volcano is happening, so the tip of this volcano will be also bursted and it will be forming a depression. So this depression is called as a crater in this volcano, and we can see this type of depressions on the surface of this Mars as well. So here the accepted color of this Mars here is red because of presence of the red rocks, that is iron oxide. The craters are also present on the surface of the Mars. And recently, as we all know, that the Mars mission here is rover, Perseverance rover, which had been landed in this Jezero crater. And it started picking up of this rocks which are present on this Mars surface. So here, if you are talking about what are the expectations that we had, so whenever there is a landing of this rover in the crater, so this crater means we can say it is formed because of lakes, or if I think there might be the river which had been flowed. So whenever there is a river and as well as any lake which is present, so in that area we can see what are the rocks present. They might be the sedimented rocks, right? So whatever the thing we expected here is, we can get some sedimented rocks in this crater. But what happened? So here we got volcanic rocks than compared to that of this sedimented rocks in this region. Okay, so rather than the expected sedimentary rocks which are washed in by the rivers and accumulated on the lake bottom, so many of the rocks, they are in volcanic nature. Especially they are composed of large grains of olivine, and they are green in color rather than red in color. So these are some important things that you have to remember regarding this Mars rocks. So the rocks and lava the rover is examining on the Mars, they are mainly belonging to like 4 billion years ago, and the rocks are very old. Okay, so that rocks which are existing on the surface of this Mars, they are old, which are existing on the earth, but they are incredibly weathered and as well as beaten. So why? Because of some wind, because of some water, because of some life that is present there. So because of this, there is a weathering of rocks that are mainly seen on this surface of this Mars. And we are talking about what is significant, so what we are going to get after the study. So yes, whenever we understand these rocks which are present on this Mars surface, we can understand the evolution and as well as history of this formation of this Mars. And we can also compare the early life on this Mars and what are the conditions that used to present in the ancient Earth. Okay, so this is significance. And we can if we start understanding the conditions, how life began, that will also help the scientist to know where to look for it on other planets and as well as moons. Okay, so this is about this topic. And now let us move on to next topic. So this topic is about antibiotics. So what are the antibiotics? If you are getting any infection, for example, infection because of fungus, because of parasite, because of bacteria, okay, because of virus, so we will be taking antibiotics. For example, for fungus, we will be taking antifungals, for example, metronidazole, ketoconazole, etc. And if you are getting bacterial infections, we will be having first line antibacterial drugs, second line antibacterial drugs, streptomycin, neomycin, like that, cephalosporins, penicillins. And next one here is parasites. We will be also having some antiparasites or something. So whenever we are taking these antibiotics, for example, let us take, we have to complete the course of this antibiotics. So for example, if I am getting, now I am suffering from this typhoid fever. So because of this typhoid, then I have to take this antibiotic for sure. Okay, that is for at least 6 days I have to take the dose of this antibiotics, and I have to complete this antibiotic course, okay, for this 6 days, and I should not stop it in middle. So I know this fact, I can do that. But what happened in some areas, so people after taking this antibiotic for 2 or 3 days, yes, the symptoms will be subsided for sure. So because of this, after once the symptoms are subsided for 2 to 3 days, then they will stop taking the medicines. They will be saying that yes, I am out of the danger and I am recovered, okay, so I am not getting fever now, so there is no need of taking tablets. So what happens, so if there is any small amount of bacteria that is still present inside your body, means, so again that will start dividing, and again what happens, symptoms will reappear, and again at that time you will be feeling sick, and you will be feeling like, so I am getting fever, again I have to take the medicine, and you will be taking the leftover 2 to 3 doses or 2 to 3 days doses of this antibiotic again. So whether the same antibiotic will work on this? No, not at all, because this bacteria will be already creating some protective gear against this antibiotic. So because of this, if you are taking the same antibiotic, they will be not acting. So this situation is called as antimicrobial resistance. So here, whenever we are taking any therapy, and if you are not taking that course completely, means antibiotic will be smart as like humans, and they will be creating a protective gear on that. So this concept is called as antimicrobial resistance. So what is antimicrobial resistance? It is a resistance acquired by any microorganism. So it may be bacteria, virus, fungi, parasites, etc. against these antimicrobial drugs. For example, antibiotics, antifungals, antivirals, antimalarials, antihelminthics. So antihelminthics, one example here is albendazole. The dose here is 400 mg. So it is also used for the deworming. So I think Anganwadis, they will be coming every month, and they will be giving just one tablet that you have to take, especially for the children, that is called as deworming tablet, that is called as albendazole. So as a result, what happened, whenever bacteria or fungus or parasites or virus, they are developing a protective gear. So as a result, the standard treatments, they will be becoming ineffective. So whenever you are not getting the proper action of the drug, means yes, that will increases the severity of the disease, and that will be also increases the cost of the treatment as well, and it will be increases the longer stay in the hospitals. So if we are talking about data which released by this global research on antimicrobial resistance report, it says 1.27 million people, they died in 2019 because of direct results of this antimicrobial resistance. And the death because of this antimicrobial resistance is now, it is one of the leading cause of death worldwide, okay, which is higher than compared to that of even HIV or malaria, AIDS, etc. So most of the deaths from this antimicrobial resistance, they are caused by lower respiratory infections. For example, pneumonia, bloodstream infections, etc. because of sepsis. Sepsis means nothing but we can say there is increasing of infection. And if you are talking about what are the reasons for the spread of this antimicrobial resistance, for example, misuse of antimicrobials. You are not taking the proper dose and as well as complete dose of this antimicrobials, antibiotics. So it is one of the major cause for this antimicrobial resistance. So whenever the bacteria or fungi, they are developing this resistance, they are called as superbugs. So there were a number of articles earlier, I think 6 months back, 8 months back, which came in the newspaper regarding this superbugs. So if we are talking about the contamination, so whenever any pharmaceutical industry which is preparing or manufacturing this microbials, that is antimicrobials, that is antibiotics, whenever they are releasing the waste directly into the nearby water bodies, then that will be also leads to this antimicrobial resistance. And even because of using of antibiotics in this poultry form, that is also leading to this antimicrobial resistance. For example, colistin which is highly used in this poultry. And if you're talking about what can be the measures taken to address this antimicrobial resistance, for example, government came up, I'm talking about India specific measures. So first one is National Program on Antimicrobial Resistance Contaminant. So this program is launched in year 2012. Under this program, antimicrobial resistance surveillance network has been strengthened. Okay. So while this antimicrobial resistance is one of the concern. So if bacteria or virus, fungi, protozoa which are developing this resistance means, so if any drug which are present now, that is antibiotics which are present now, they are not acting means what happened, that will be increasing the mortality. So if you want to go for R&D, it will be taking like 10 to 20 years to get a new component. So it is also one important cause of concern. It is also very high risky, and also we need a lot of funds for the going for the development of antibiotics. And this one here is National Action Plan on this antimicrobial resistance. So under this program, it especially focuses on One Health approach, and this launched in the year 2017. And this one here is AMR, Antimicrobial Resistance Surveillance and Research Network, and it was launched in the year 2013 to generate evidences and to capture trends and patterns of drug resistance infection in the country. And this one here is AMR Research and International Collaboration. So it says that Indian Council of Medical Research ICMR, which has taken initiatives to develop new drugs or medicines through international collaborations in order to strengthen the medical research in AMR. Okay, we are also focusing on research and as well as collaboration in this antibiotics. So now let us try to see this last topic of this day. So this topic, it is about HSV1 virus. So students, if you are from this anthropology optional background, so this topic is for you students. So DNA which is extracted from this ancient human teeth. Okay, so we will be getting a lot of fossils. For example, you can talk about leaky fossil. Okay, so I can't remember those names right now. So one example I can say here is leaky. So whenever they are getting the fossils, they will be studying those teeth and as well as length and as well as how they used to be. Okay, based on some skeletal changes. Okay, or we can say like some changes in the eye orbits like that. So DNA which may be extracted from this ancient human teeth, and this DNA indicates that there was presence of this HSV1, that is herpes simplex virus. So it is a cold sore virus, and which was first seen in Europe. Okay, which was first seen in present Europe. It is around 5,000 years ago. But what happened whenever we entered into this Bronze Age, there is changes of culture that is mainly seen, and that includes like emergence of romantic kissing, etc. So that led to this rise of this HSV, herpes simplex virus, spread in that period. So this is about this topic. And now let us try to see the prelims practice question. So first question, it is regarding this United Nations Security Council. Okay, so Asia has the highest representation among the all continents. No, not at all. Asia, it is not having the highest representation. And second one is representation of Latin America and Europe is same. It is not at all. And the total number of non-permanent members here is 10. Yes, if you are talking about these members of this UNSC, we have permanent members, we have temporary members. So permanent members are 5, P5 countries, power 5 countries, and temporary members are 10 countries. So only this third statement is correct. And here you have to identify which are the not correct statements. So answer will be A, 1 and 2 only. So this is about this today's prelims practice question. So now let me make a small announcement. We in Rathod's IS, we came up with this prelims test series, and this is 1 year course which contains 30 tests, which includes GS and as well as CSAT. So if you want to know whether you are in the right direction, if you want to clear your prelims, yes, you have to practice the mock test. And here we are not compromising on the quality of questions. We are providing good quality of questions according to our UPSC pattern. And we are covering current affairs of last 1.5 years, so that there will be comprehensive preparation. So if you join this test series, and the cost of this test series here, it is just 3,000 rupees for 1 year. And apart from this prelims test series here, new mains answer writing course batch of 1 year is going to be started from September 5th. So here in this course, we are providing the weekly targets for you students, and based on that, one mains question will be given on every day, and on Sunday you will be having essay or case study practice, and there will be live sessions on every Sunday. So apart from that live sessions, we are also going to provide evaluation of your answers, one-to-one mentorship and model answers. So if you want to clear this UPSC and if you want to see your name in this finalist, yes, mains answer writing practice is one of the important area that you have to focus. So here in this 1-year course, I can assure you that you are going to master this answer writing skills. So not only the mains related things we are going to discuss, but here and there, if there is any important point regarding prelims, then we are also going to have the stress on that topic. So try to join this mains answer writing course. So the cost here is just 8,200 rupees for 1 year. So 1 year just you are investing 8,200 rupees, especially to see your name in the final list. So try to join this course, it is absolutely beneficial. And now let us try to see the today's Hindu newspaper PDF as usual. So this is our today's Hindu, and today is August 20th and this is Sunday, and this is Delhi edition. And the first topic is regarding this former CJ and Supreme Court judges. I discussed this topic, and this one article, it is regarding demolition of twin towers. So you have to see what is the role of these illegal buildings. Okay, so whenever there is illegal buildings that are mainly built in this ecological sensitive areas or coastal zones, yes, there is nothing like we can't do anything, so we have to go for demolition, and that is the case that is seen here. And the page number 2, there is nothing much important, and even in the page number 3, and you can move forward, and this page number 5 is also nothing much important. And here in this page number 6, you can see Vikrant will take time to be fully ready. So here you have to know about this INS Vikrant. So already we discussed this topic number of times. And this page number 7, here you can see use Khadi products daily. So let me know here in which moment in our Indian freedom struggle they focused on this use of this Khadi products, indigenous product. Let me know in the comment box. And next topic here is India mission in Sri Lanka slams Chinese envoy's remarks. So this topic is also important from our international relations. And here you can see CJI Lalit has got big plans lined up for his short term. So this topic is also very important because he is having just 3 months of the tenure as CJI. And in this short time period, yes, what are the things he want to do? He is coming up with a plan. And next, if you see in this page number 9, I discussed about this Kula. And if you move forward, I discussed about this Kendriya Vidyalayas topic. And here you can see Russia blocks agreement on United Nations nuclear treaty. I discussed this topic. And here you can see 4 Indian American women, they faced racist attacks in Texas. So I watched this news, and you can see this news, I think I saw in BBC. So one woman, her name is like Variety. Okay, so it is very much different. I can't remember her name right now. So what happened whenever these people, they went to hotel, so actually that woman, she mainly made some attacks. She also hit them, and she says that wherever I go, I am seeing Indians. So Indians are coming to Americans just for luxury. So you have to leave this America. Okay, so this is the statements that are given by that so-and-so woman, and she was arrested. And this one here is Russia-China cooperation Arctic a concern. So this is the thing which mainly said by this NATO. So this topic is also important. And in this science and technology page here, you have to know about return to the moon. So actually this article which is mainly talking about Orion capsule, okay, that mainly done by this NASA. I discussed about this HSV1 virus, and I discussed about one article that is regarding this antibiotic resistance or antimicrobial resistance. I discussed about this Martian rocks. There is an article that is monkeypox cases are increasing in the US cities. So you have to go through this basic facts of this monkeypox virus. And here I discussed about this Bilkis Bano case number of times. I discussed about this Pegasus malware report also. So these are some important articles that appear in our today's Hindu. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. So please subscribe to Rathod's IAS Academy if you have not done till now, and hit the bell icon so that you can get the regular notifications whenever we are uploading the video. And one more thing here is, if you want to get the PDF, so you have to visit our website rathodsisacademy.com. There you can click on the free downloads. There we are posting our PDF. So earlier we used to post in the Telegram, and now we are posting in this website itself. So you can visit the website. And one more thing here is, if you want to enroll the courses, so if you want to watch the demo videos, so you can watch the demo videos which is present in our website, and you can watch 3 demo videos which are free of cost. So by this I am concluding. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. Thank you so much and have a great day. Jai Hind.